Please welcome your fourth storyteller, Krista.
Three babies in 366 days. Let me elaborate. My husband and I gave birth to 3 babies in 366 days. This past year has been one hell of a trip. I'm Krista. I'll be your captain for this journey. Welcome aboard. Like so many others, my husband and I really struggled to get pregnant. So when we finally welcomed our daughter, we were over the moon excited. And life didn't really skip a beat. We continued to travel and camp and seek out all of the adventures just as we always had. It was when my daughter was 6 months old that we were on one of those adventures. And I just felt a little bit off, so I took a pregnancy test. We were not so over the moon with the results. We were really loving being a family of 3, and being a family of 4 so soon, we were really unsure about. But these things, they grow on you pretty fast. By the time we made it to our first doctor's appointment, we were elated to find out that we were going to be a family of 5. Twins. I have just dropped all of your oxygen masks. Please put your own on before assisting your neighbor. I had a really complicated pregnancy, so I was actually induced a full month early, and that happened to be the day after our daughter's first birthday. Although this was a scheduled delivery, it was absolute chaos. The highlights: baby A was nearly born in a hallway. Baby B was an emergency C-section after I had already given a vaginal birth to baby A. Because of these scenarios, my husband was with baby A, and I was delivering baby B without him. And then the big one. As they brought baby B over to me, they told me that he was going to need a surgery that they could not provide from him at that hospital, something we were unaware of in utero, and that he would be leaving the hospital that night. And with that, they took him away. In 366 days, essentially 1 year's time, I gave birth to 3 children, and in that moment, I couldn't see or touch any of them. I have put on your fasten the seatbelt sign. We are in for some turbulence. So it turns out our son was born with a rare intestinal condition, and in the chaos of the operating room, everything was oversimplified. He wasn't going to need one surgery. He was going to need a series of surgeries, and those were only the ones that we were certain of. I took a few days to peel myself off the metaphorical floor of grief and shock, and then I did a deep dive into trying to understand everything I possibly could about this condition. And along the way, I came across an essay called Welcome to Holland. And the gist of it is, when you're planning for the birth of a baby, it's much like planning a really exciting trip to Italy. You buy all the travel books, and you learn the pleasantries, and you know all of the exciting sights that you're going to see. But when you give birth to a child who unexpectedly has a special need, it's much like planning for that trip to Italy, and when you land, the flight attendant says, "Welcome to Holland." And you say, "No, I'm going to an exciting trip in Italy. I know all of the things about Italy. I don't know anything about Holland." But Holland is where you are. And Holland is also beautiful. Holland has tulips and Rembrandts and windmills, and Holland has an amazing culture full of fabulous people. I read this essay from beginning to end, and I cried the entire way. And then I read it again. Because in that moment, I honestly did not know what I was going to be able to lend to my child moving forward in regards to this condition. But I realized that at the very least, I could give him this perspective, because he's going to need one hell of a perspective. Next week, our twins, turn 1. our son with the condition has had 4 surgeries in those 12 short months. I don't think that we're ever going to reach a comfortable cruising altitude. I think our fasten your seatbelt signs are always going to be on. And I think that might just be parenthood. What I do know is that none of this is going to change all of the plans we had had for him and for all of our children. We are still going to travel and camp and seek out adventures in all of the ways that we always have. And one day, when we're either really brave or really dumb, we're going to all get on a plane. And when I make the short list of all of the places in the world that we can go, at the very top of that list is Holland, because it's beautiful. I know. I've seen it. Thank you.
Krista.